let's get to the big news before we get to this particular class. And of course, this is the new age of college football, where on National Signing Day, the biggest story is the transfer portal edition in the last few days of one Devin Leary from NC State.
Yeah. Right. I said a couple weeks ago, obviously he put his name in, and Kentucky came in. He visited Kentucky. Some thought he was going to commit there on the spot. Didn't quite happen. Kentucky was also talked about with Graham Mertz from Wisconsin. And I guess he went to Florida. I don't know. I was reading online, there may be some issue, but I don't know. Staying out of all that. But this is the guy that Stoops wanted, and they got him, and they couldn't be happier. I mean, if you look at the 247 transfer portal ratings, was the fourth top rated player overall, and number one quarterback. And, he had an amazing season in 2021, 35 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. The issue, of course, has been with him. Can he stay healthy? He missed part of 2020 with a broken leg, and then missed half of last year to a torn pectoral muscle in his shoulder, or torn pectoral muscle, not to be redundant there. And but they think he'll be ready for spring ball. So, I mean, Coach Stoops, Coach Marrow, and the staff, and we got to throw out there it seems it's just a matter of days now when Liam Cohen is coming back to Kentucky as will be the offensive coordinator again. At this point, it seems it's not if, it's when. The Rams have already been eliminated from the playoff contention. So you got to think that Cohen probably had something to do with this. This was a guy that he wanted, and they got him. And I say Kentucky, if you base it on the transfer portal rankings, at least by 247 Sports, they've got they're ranked 7th right now. Because you think about it, they've basically got an entirely new backfield for next year. They've got Devin Leary at quarterback, and about 3 hours later yesterday, they picked up Ray Davis for Vanderbilt, who ran over 1,000 yards last year, had a huge game against Kentucky when they unfortunately snapped that long SEC losing streak when they won in Lexington. So the Cats are really, like I said, the transfer portal, they picked up two defensive backs, which somebody they need, J.Q. Hardaway from Cincinnati. They picked up Jansen Dunn from Ohio State. And then a couple of other offensive linemen, Tanner Bowles from Alabama, and another guy whose name escapes me this moment, from Northern Illinois, which obviously for anybody who followed Kentucky this year, the Big Blue Wall was not as sturdy as it's been in past years. And so obviously that's going to be something that they've addressed here already so far in 2023.
Why am I not finding Kentucky? I thought they were 25th in the country. Where are they? There they are.
Yeah, 2-4. Yeah, it's funny because the overall rank is 25th when you throw in. I think that the composite just from the recruiting is 33rd. But the interesting thing was about 2 or 3 weeks ago, they were somewhere down in the 60s. And then yesterday they were 45. So they just keep climbing. And it's what Stoops said. You and I had talked about this earlier in the year. There was a lot of scuttlebutt, to use a nice fancy word, about Kentucky being behind on NIL stuff. And, with a lot of the blame falling on Mitch Barnhart and, Stoops, everybody said, we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. We're going to get our guys. And you've seen in the last month, they've been, they've been rolling in guys, and they got two more guys today. They flipped Tavion Gadsden, who's a defensive lineman who had signed with Florida State, or hadn't signed, but had committed to Florida State, decommitted, and then turned around and signed with Kentucky today. And then they had another name. The name, got to go through the list here real quick. Live TV, I know. Javon Brown, who was a linebacker who was to Michigan State up until about a week ago, and they flipped him. It's another recruiting win for Kentucky against Michigan State, and I'm sure they got the coaching staff kind of likes that. So they've been very successful in their battles against Michigan State recently. So right now, 17 high schoolers coming in and the 6 transfers. So, and Stoops said at his press conference this afternoon that they may not be done yet. So we might have 1 or 2 more surprises is what he said. So that's always, perked up the ears of the Big Blue Nation. So,
well, you've got your Big Blue on. That's a perfect shade of Kentucky blue on right there.
Yes, it's a Tech Slayer Gator Bowl shirt from a couple years ago when they beat North Carolina State. Ironically enough, when Devin Leary, I don't think Devin Leary didn't play in that game, but yes, I've got my rocking the Kentucky blue today. So
it looks like it just seems like Mark Stoops has just obviously he had to do all the heavy lifting early, build this up. He's gotten to a place where I don't want to say that they've settled in a certain landing spot, but it just appears as though they've reached a certain place and they're comfortable with what they're able to do through recruiting. And then the rest relies on the coaching staff to develop players and then obviously out scheme the other team and make those adjustments. So while everybody's in a house, but in terms of the level of recruiting that they've upgraded significantly over the past 5 to 10 years, but they're in a certain place right now.
Oh yeah, because you and I have talked in the past that when Coach Stoops came in, they were no disrespect to the non-Power 5 schools, but they were fighting for 1 and maybe 2-star guys, against teams from the MAC, teams from like that, and now they're going into Alabama, Georgia, and taking a lot of guys from there. And as I said, they've built the program over 10 years. It has the stability, other than Saban, Stoops is the longest tenured coach now, I think, in the SEC. And they've done, as you said, they have a plan. They follow the, trust the process, as they like to say sometimes. And it's really, and it's worked. And you see the progress going to what'll be a 7th straight bowl game this year. Far and away the longest streak in Kentucky football history, and hoping for that 5th straight win. Now we'll see what happens when we get to that game with Iowa, which could be a really exciting game for all the wrong reasons. Who knows? So.
Absolutely. Well, yes, I am not a big fan of repeat bowl matchups, but that's what the Music City has given us. It's not their issue, but would have liked to have seen a little bit more oversight over the process to say, okay, we can steer clear from this happening again or this happening over here. But here we go. Kentucky and Iowa for a 2nd consecutive season in the Music City Bowl.
Yep. I mean, do the bowl projections for last word. I had Kentucky. I believe the last one I had them playing. I can't remember if it was either Illinois or Minnesota, which I think, obviously Illinois worked out better for them where they're going. But Kentucky hadn't played Illinois in over 100 years, and have never played Minnesota. But this is supposedly the game that the Music City Bowl wanted. They wanted Kentucky. They wanted Iowa again. So we got it. And like I said, I'm excited about it. Not everybody in the Big Blue Nation is excited about it, but I'm going to, I'm never going to not be excited about a football game, about a bowl game, because Kentucky went so many years without going to one that we were just praying for one. And, and now, like I said, it's seven straight games. So you can't, you can't argue, as you said, you can't argue with what Stoops and his staff have done. And as I said, you look at the fact that more than likely Liam Cohen is coming back from the Rams to Kentucky. Throw in Devin Leary, you throw in Ray Davis, you throw in a returning Barian Brown, you throw in Dane Key, and then Shamar Porter. Just going back to the recruiting, he's the top. We're looking at him right there on your screen. He's the top-rated player by 247 for Kentucky this year. Another wide receiver out of Nashville. Kentucky's had great success with Nashville. That's where Brown's from. Destin and Keaton Wade, twins from just outside of Nashville. Kentucky's got a little got a little pipeline going there, and that's it's paying off. And like I said, everyone is really, in the span of about a week and a half, everybody was kind of going, yay, Kentucky, woo, bowl game, whatever. And now everybody is all excited about 2023 now within the span of the last week. You throw in the return of Cohen, throw in Leary, throw in Davis, throw in some of these recruits. And definitely reason to be excited for next year. Hopefully do a little bit better. Kentucky's schedule is a lot tougher next year because they play both Georgia and Alabama. And of course, they always play Georgia, but it's next year they play Alabama too. So a 7-5 season next year might be really, really strong considering the schedule, the SEC schedule that they have to play. So, like I said, everyone's really, really excited. I'm really excited about this class. I believe Coach Stoops said 13 of the guys, obviously counting the transfers through the portal, we're going to enroll early, so to get a head start on 2023. So get ready for the spring.